All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Dragon vs. Weeb podcast. I am the Weeb Isaac, and this is the Dragon Johnny. Though you might
Hello,
see in
how are
our
you?
setup that we're kind of reversed right now, but I'll fix it later. Uh, we're back after our initial debut where I may or may not have fucked up all the audio, but don't worry about that part. Uh,
It was pretty fucked up, let's be honest. I took like 5 minutes of listening. I'm like, oh, this is this could use some work.
and it was applied. It was applied. There was work done. There was work done. There's even mildly more production value. I got better lighting. We have backgrounds now. Um, yeah, we got all that cool stuff.
My stuff's all gonna change in a few weeks, so
Yeah, you're about to get a whole new setup in life.
yeah, I'll be moving. I'll be in California for a few months, probably half the year. Um, Gonna be kind of like a dorm, so my podcast setup might be a little different, but it shouldn't change anything, and we'll go from there. Honestly.
Yeah. So it's been like 2 weeks since we last did our first one. Didn't want to fall out a habit of doing it, but it took a little bit too long to get ourselves together with our schedules and whatnot. But 2 weeks since we last did our podcast. In those 2 weeks, we got a lot actually. Game Awards happened, and I'm not really too interested in the actual Game Awards myself. Though it was kind of funny to see Astrobot win Game of the Year. We just didn't call that one at all.
I don't think anybody did, let's be honest. Nobody, I honestly don't. Look, either that game is like ridiculously fucking good, and I would have to buy a PlayStation 5 for that, which I don't want to, or
Poor
Sony bought
guys.
them out. And I bet it's the prior that the game is just ridiculously good that it beat Black Myth Wukong and all these other games. What were they? Like Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the
Balatro,
Archers,
Metaphor,
Metaphor, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like
Elden Ring.
yeah. Well, I feel like they wouldn't have allowed Elden Ring anyway, just because it's a DLC and they got a lot of flack out of it. So I feel like they didn't do it just because they would have gotten a lot of flack.
Uh, it depends. Like, I could totally imagine a world where Elden Ring would have won again, but it wouldn't have gone over nicely. Now, I haven't actually. I'm not you, Johnny. I don't really go around and check other people's comments because I know when me and you were watching the Game Awards, I think you were angry and I was just confused, or maybe we were both confused when we saw Astrobot win, and I'm just saying like, huh, that's
I,
uh,
I
that's interesting. Like,
I feel
again,
like
I
a
haven't
lot of
played
people are
it. None of us have
confused.
played it. And I think the most confusing thing is that probably most people have not played Astrobot since it's a PS5 exclusive. Though, I imagine we live in a world that a lot of people, if they wanted a PS5 at this point, could probably own one. Well, maybe not a lot of people. It's still, what, like $700? Some crazy shit like that?
I think the Pro is like $700, which is like barely a fucking upgrade. So you might as well buy the PS5 like normal. Um, Sony's really trying to fucking sell their consoles and think that their consumer base is really dumb, but whatever. I don't like Sony, so I'm in the other side of things. So
You know what's crazy to think about with the PS5 and, like, the Xbox generation?
what's that?
You know we're going on 5 years of those consoles, right? Like half a decade.
Yeah,
We're at
so
5 years
we
right
only
now.
have a few more years before the PS6 and Xbox
Yes.
X number something comes out.
Where even less people own them.
I feel like they'll be fine. I feel like they'll be fine just because of the way that Sony's going. I feel like they're gonna do better than we think, but worse than expected. If that makes sense.
Uh, I don't know about that, but I don't know. I feel like COVID and other world events made it like way worse to get a freaking PS5 than like ever, and I don't even want to think about how bad it's gonna be when a PS6 comes out. But we'll see. We'll see. That's a shit show just waiting to happen, if you ask me.
Fuck. Look, as long as I can play my games, I don't really care. Like, it took me forever just to get my Xbox. It took me like what, like a year or 2 years after it came out just to fucking have the opportunity to get one because of all the scalpers and shit. Um, yeah, that shit sucked. That shit sucked. If you went through the pain of like people who are scalping, like I would go on GameStop and I would be like, "Oh, look, there's an Xbox for sale. Great. I can purchase one." I went over and I just started boop 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 boop. My information, everything, the funny little numbers on the back of my credit card, and sorry, this has already been bought out. Like it's barely been listed for like 5 fucking minutes. It was ridiculous back then in COVID.
So one thing that I was kind of curious coming out of the Game Awards is tell me your new fascination or at least curiosity with Ninja Gaiden.
Okay, so I didn't know anything about Ninja Gaiden. A lot of my older friends, they know about Ninja Gaiden, and
Heck, I know about Ninja Gaiden. I never played 2D Ninja Gaiden.
yeah.
But
So so the reason why I wanted to play Ninja Gaiden was just because that shit just looks cool. I can't really say anything about it. When I first saw the trailer, I was like, "Holy fuck, this is cool!" And then I looked up, they had like a whole entire fucking series about it. I'm like, "Holy fuck, why have I never heard about this? This thing looks like Gaiden looks fucking cool as shit. Why haven't I played this game?"
I'll say Ninja Gaiden. Like I don't know much about the 2D Ninja Gaiden. All my knowledge comes of like Ninja Gaiden Black, like the 360 games that came out around 20, or I was gonna say like 2010, like 2008 to 2011, because there's like three games. They're sitting on Game Pass right now, by the way, if you want to try out those games, if you're ultra curious about Ninja Gaiden as a series. And the thing the thing about those games is that they're actually pretty hard. They're pretty hard, like legitimately. Like they play like old school God of War, much closer to like God of War than like Devil May Cry. Um, and they're pretty fucking difficult. I haven't like played them in years, and I don't even think I beat them because I was like a kid when I played those games. Um, but yeah, the main character is also in the Dead or Alive games, which you probably don't know about, but men of culture will know about. Let me tell you about those Dead or Alive games.
I've heard of them. I know nothing about them.
Um, Men of culture enjoy Dead or Alive. That's all I'll say. I know
Fair enough.
absolutely nothing about its gameplay. The only 3D fighter I've ever touched is like Tekken. Speaking of 3D fighters, apparently Virtua Fighter's also coming back, which the in which they're being head by Ryuga Gotoku, RGG, the guys that make all the Yakuza games that I love so much.
You do love your Yakuza games. I know that.
Yeah, I love shitting on Nate about them because apparently there's been 11 Yakuza games since since Hollow Knight, and looks like that number is going to be close to 12 if that game they announced Project Century comes out. By the way, speaking of Project Century, that game's kind of weird because when they showed the trailer for it, like the combat looked like Yakuza, but I didn't think it was a Yakuza game because those games don't normally include murder. Like I know that you don't really like play those games, Johnny, but like how those games like normally go is that you do horrific violence against another human being, but you don't kill them. Uh,
Yeah, I have played a tiny bit of Yakuza, and I remember taking an entire like bicycle, like not bicycle, a motorcycle, and then like beating the crap out of someone, and then he was just rolling on the ground with it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that would have killed a normal man, but all right.
no, he's fine. No, Kiryu never
Yeah,
killed somebody.
yeah.
There
He,
was there was the Fist of the North Star game where you totally murdered the shit out of those guys using your feet. Uh, there was the fucking Fist of the North Star game where you just kept exploding people left and right. Great game, great game. I believe it was called Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, which they also made. You could basically call that a Yakuza game because they put a Fist of the North Star like skin on everything, and then just inserted like all the gameplay that they're known for, even down to the side quests.
right. I I I do want to talk about some things about the Game Awards actually.
Okay.
Um, some things that some things that are like kind of like not concerning, but more along the lines of I wonder what direction this is going to go. I'm just gonna go right off the rip. The Witcher 4, and the reason I say that is because I'm excited for The Witcher 4. I didn't really like Ciri as a character, but that's probably because like younger
That's so
me, I
weird
didn't
because
really
I
care.
really like Siri as a character. What do you like about Siri?
I just find Geralt more interesting. I think that was at the time that like I when I would focus on one character, I would put all my attention on them. I would have to play Witcher 3 again, which let's be honest, playing Witcher 3 again probably not a smart idea. I didn't really like the story, but I loved the Blood and Wine DLC. I loved Geralt as a character. I loved a lot of the characters that interacted with him, but I did not really like the whole like Siri thing. It felt like kind of like a it felt like she's the MacGuffin, find her, which she was. She was the MacGuffin, but it didn't really. I didn't really feel any sort of like urgency, if that makes sense, to find her.
Well, that's just because of the format of the games. It's just open world.
Yeah,
It's like Geralt's like, I have to find Siri. She's basically my surrogate daughter, but
I
I
love her
need
too
some
much.
cash though, so I
I'm so
gotta.
fucking
You
broke.
broke.
I'm so fucking broke. I can't purchase food. I can't get potions. I can't get anything. Shit, my all my weapons are hand-me-downs.
I
But
seriously need cash, so I'm
yeah,
gonna have to spend a lot of time in fuck. The only place I remember in Witcher 3 is Skellige. I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time in Skellige with these fucking Vikings doing these odd jobs and fucking these monsters.
you don't
Just
remember the
so,
Baron?
hmm?
You don't remember the Baron?
I remember the Baron. I just don't remember the area because I just remember it being like a flat grassland.
I remember there being a swamp nearby. That was about it.
Like
Like
Skellige
a
is like the
forest.
only place I remember because Skellige was not what I expected at all. I didn't expect fucking Viking people, and
I I like Skellige. That was like one of the areas that I really liked. I liked Skellige and I liked Toussaint. Toussaint was really good. I
Toussaint
loved
was the big city, right, with all the mage people that you had to help out.
Toussaint was the Blood and Wine DLC,
Okay.
and you didn't play that. Uh, you have to play it. It's that good. Like the story is amazing. The characters are phenomenal. There's returning characters I heard from previous Witcher games, or probably the books. I don't know. I just liked it. But back to what I was saying is that The Witcher 4, a lot of people didn't understand why she could use
Never
Witcher
go back to the
potions.
books. We will never go back to the books. That's what Witcher
That's
4
fair.
taught me.
Yeah, so we don't know why she's using her like Witcher potions or why she's using Witcher magic, which the Witcher magic can be explained. She's already a really powerful like what is it, the Master of Portals? or Mistress of
Well,
Portal.
yeah, she's like the Lady of Portals or something
Yeah, the
like that.
Lady of Portal. She's the Lady of Portal, so she can already command really, really powerful magic. So they can squeeze that in there. Like, yeah, she could just do Witcher magic. Like, all right, that's fair. Witcher magic is like shittier sorcerer magic, so that makes sense. What I don't understand is how she drank a Witcher potion because you she's not a Witcher, and she can't be a Witcher because of like three or two or three things. Like one, she never did the trial of grasses, which to our audience who is like the trial that they need to get through in order to become a Witcher. And I think like only 3 out of 10 children or boys would survive that. And another thing is that in the books, females can't be Witchers because their bodies just cannot handle that. And I believe it goes like it's the opposite for sorcerers, right? Is that men can't be sorcerers, but women can. Is that a thing? Or is that just
Um,
something that I thought of and
I
made no
feel like I
sense?
met a male sorcerer in Witcher though.
Have you? I don't remember any because I only remember female. Because I know
I
witches are different because they're like witchers. So maybe I'm just like not remembering
Yeah,
correctly.
we
But if
need
they're
like a lore master to
yeah, we
correct
need a lore
us.
master. But also another thing that I didn't understand is like why are people saying that like Siri's ugly and the uglification all that crap? Like I don't care. It's just CGI. CGI is
Um,
always going to make someone look ugly.
um, I think it's the fact that Siri isn't like drop dead gorgeous, which doesn't really make sense. Especially because like Siri looks like 10 years older, like just based on
Probably more.
like maybe yeah maybe more like
Yeah,
just looks like a good 10 years older. I could easily just them write off like her becoming a Witcher as she's Siri, she's built different because if there's anyone who has the excuse of being built different in all of Witcher, it's Siri. Um,
but that correlates differently from well that goes against the fact that in order for you to be a witcher, you had to be a young age because your body could adapt to it.
yeah, but like
She's built different. Is
yeah,
that
like,
it is?
what do you want me to fucking say? Can you open portals, motherfucker? Like, what?
No, but like I mean, I feel like opening portals versus drinking a literal like cyanide that can make you see in the dark is like two different things.
It's called
I
being
don't
built
know.
different.
It's just
When
called
you're
being built
built
different.
different, the regular rules don't apply to you. You gotta
She
work
has
with
plot
different
armors.
rules.
She has main character plot armor. Is that what I'm getting?
No, it's called being built different. All right, it's
Whatever.
different than plot armor.
I'm interested to see where this goes. I don't care about all that crap about that. Like, oh, it's the workification. I don't really give a fuck. I just want a good game.
Look,
Like,
what you should
and
complain about is the real missed opportunity. Because what they should have did with Siri is that they should have called this Witcher Metal Witcher Revengeance. That's what they should have called this. They should have called
God,
this Witcher Revengeance because
who's
Siri
gonna
is
be Senator
basically the
Armstrong?
Raiden.
Who's gonna be Senator Armstrong? Who she's gonna punch like a million times in the chest?
Look, see, this is the thing you don't understand because you don't know Metal Gear lore. All right, Senator Armstrong didn't fucking exist prior to Revengeance. All right,
And he
so
stole the
make him
show.
the fuck up. I don't care. Have some motherfucker from like the eighth dimension or wherever the fuck Siri hangs out, and then she can punch his chest and he not move.
That would be a really cool like thing that if she's the lady of portals, she could definitely like just jump around. Like the gameplay could be
Now you're
like
getting it.
you're in the middle of fucking like the normal Witcher world, and then like the next moment that you're like, I don't really like this place. I'm gonna go find where I could just like hunt a bunch of
Now you're
dragons and
getting
shit, or
it.
like find some that are really cool to talk to. That would be really cool. That would actually be really cool. And by the time that Witcher 4 comes out, Geralt is definitely retired. So you're going to see him just chilling in Toussaint, I bet, because he has a home there. I don't know if you guys know that. You have a home in Toussaint. And I bet you he retired there with Yennefer, that's her name, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's where they live. I remember specifically in that DLC that she's living there with Geralt,
So
with a vineyard and everything.
So all we need to do, we gotta go back to that trailer and just put rules of nature, just like
You
somewhere
get
like,
the fuck out right there.
and then like instead of like being pinned to the wall, she grabs the monster and then like does like a judo throw, and it just crashes through the ground.
My God,
She's like, I'm
I
different than other witchers.
I
I'm a
would
cybernetically enhanced witcher with portal powers.
also. I just want to know, like, because like all the schools of the Witcher are like basically gone. Um, what's gonna happen to the world? Like, without Witchers, the world's gonna suck a lot.
That man already did suck.
Well, yeah, it did suck, but it was kind of like it was kind
Like,
of like well, like think about it like this. It's like if what if all of the exterminators just went away?
yeah, somebody will figure that shit out.
Somebody will figure it out. Siri will figure it out, but she can't be everywhere at once.
It's kind of weird because, like, are witchers dying off? Because, like, I meant,
I,
like, well, I
I
guess
thought
dying off is
I
the
thought they
wrong
started
word.
a school again. Didn't they start the school of the cat or something again?
I
I
think
can't
so.
remember.
Because, like, depending on, like, the ending, like, Witcher 2, there was a guy who, like, started, who was, like, from the school of the snake, I believe. If you ever looked at gameplay, Witcher 2, Letho, and you can choose to kill him or not, and I chose not to. And so he walked off to start his own school. So I assume that guy's doing shit. I just didn't want to fight him because that motherfucker was big, and the gameplay in Witcher 2 kind of sucks. Um, but
I
I didn't
saw a
fight
big
him.
guy and I didn't want to throw hands with him.
Big guy, didn't want to throw hands with him, and that seemed like a hard fight. So I was like,
Yeah.
nah, fuck it, I don't care. Yeah, sure, you killed this king, but that king was kind of an asshole. I'll live.
Uh, aside from Witcher, I just want to talk a little bit more about some games.
Intergalactic.
Huh?
Intergalactic.
Oh, is that the one where it's like a giant advertisement for like Sony, Adidas, and
Yes.
Porsche? I'm not
Yes, you
playing
need to
that
buy
game.
these Adidas so that way you can
I'm
defeat these aliens.
first of all, is it a PlayStation exclusive? Or do we
Almost
not know?
certainly. I
Then
can.
I'm not getting it because I don't own a PlayStation, nor will I ever will. Because fuck Sony. Um, and two, I am not playing a fucking advertisement.
Oh, I didn't even tell you the fun part. Do you know who's making that game?
I swear to God, if I hear the name, who's making it?
Mr. Neil Druckmann. Do you know who that is?
The name sounds familiar.
It is the
Neil
creator
Druckmann,
of the multi award winning game
The
with
Last of Us.
illustrious illustrious awards in nearly every category the year it came out. The Last of Us
And Uncharted.
2.
Well, so I'm
Your
definitely not
favorite
getting the
game of
game.
all time. The
Look,
game that you will never stop loving.
I absolutely
You
fucking
kiss
hated
it
The
at
Witcher.
night,
Not The Witcher,
every
The
night.
Last of Us too. Um, look, here's the thing. The Last of Us it's a good game. It's an amazing fucking game. The story, when I watched the entire playthrough, I watched the everything. I was very, very, very fucking disappointed in what they did with the story. I don't know what they were smoking in like in that office where they were like writing that shit, but they were smoking some really bad crack. I don't know what made them think that they. You know what they saw? They brought a watermelon into the meeting, and there was a guy who was outside playing golf, and a golf ball went through the window and hit the watermelon, and he's like, "Huh." And then he took out a little pen from his butt, and then he wrote Joel with the water like on a piece of watermelon, and he was like, "This is fucking perfect." Make his ass die to a golf club to the head.
You see, John, I've known you for years, and I know that you're holding back. You're holding
I know I'm
yourself
holding
back.
back. I am holding myself back. I can feel it in my chest. Like I want to fucking scream right now. I really do. And
You'll learn to
look,
let that go.
I will learn to let that go. I will learn to release the inner hatred. But for now, because I need to save my energy for the other crap that was in the fucking
Really? What?
subpar.
Wait, no, wait. What other crap? I'm actually confused about this. What other crap are you talking about? What stokes your ire,
Um,
young
Stokes
dragon?
my ire. All right, all right. Let's just go to. I have the whole announcement page here, and I also have the Game Award winners. Uh-oh. There you go. So for best sports and racing game is basically the whole fucking meme where Barack Obama is giving a medal to Barack Obama because all those games are made by EA.
Okay,
It
well,
made no fucking sense. Like you might as well just put best racing and fucking sports game. Who is it? And then they just put EA on there. It would have made no fucking difference.
look, I
They're all
don't
crap.
look. All right, you lost that war like years ago. All right, there was a war between all these game developers who I can't remember now because EA consumed them, like Chainsaw Man, and made me forget who they are. So all I ever remember was EA Sports. It's in the game.
It's in the game, man.
And the game is trying to get in you with how much they're fucking their player base. So I don't know who you can really be
Um,
mad at that point.
I just mad the fact that they just have such a huge monopoly. It's not even funny. But it's whatever. EA sucks, so don't buy their games. Um, if you Oh, also for best adaptation, I'm so fucking happy that Fallout won. And the reason I say that is because Arcane, don't get me wrong, Arcane was an amazing fucking show. I absolutely fucking hated how they portrayed Victor, and I really
Really,
fucking
you didn't
hated
like
how
Victor in Arcane?
I liked
Spoilers
old
for
Victor better.
Arcane, by the way, going forward.
Yeah.
Uh, wait, what was
Spoilers
wrong
for
with
Arcane.
Victor?
So I liked his more machine focused in the game, like his lore, more than his Hex Tech version. And I don't
So,
know, that's just a personal preference. I just don't like the way that he looked. The way that he acted was amazing. The way that he portrayed like himself was amazing. Um, I also don't like how they fucked up my boy Warwick. Even though I fucking hate playing against Warwick, I think he's a cool character. The
that's
fact
because you're
that
just
they
a furry.
No, I'm not. Shut the fuck up. I hate the fact that they just fucked his model up. And I know why they did it. I know why they did it. And I'm not going to spoil it in case people are listening. But when you see it and you play the game, you're like, what the fuck happened here? What went wrong in the process of modeling this guy to make him look like that?
I
But
don't
then
know.
you
I
like
think
think
you're
about it for a second.
overreacting to how
Well,
he
no, but then
looks.
you think about it for a second. You're like, the reason they did that was to give more emotion to the audience, and you'll see why. But that's regardless. But I'm happy that Fallout won because I fucking love Fallout. Fallout is one of my favorite series of all time, not including
The
76 or
Fallout live
76 and a half.
action, aka Fallout 5? Is that what?
Mm, I think I think Fallout the show is after 3. No, it's after New Vegas. It's definitely after New Vegas. I know that for certain.
Okay.
So it's before. No, it's after 4 because 4 is the earliest rendition, I believe. No, 76 is the earliest rendition. Then it's 4, then it's 3, and then it's New Vegas. So New Vegas was our oldest version, I believe, in terms of the timeline, and then now it's New Vegas.
Man,
Or
you
not New
Fallout
Vegas.
fans are
We like our
there's something interesting about watching abuse victims. All right.
Todd Howard. Hey, we're not abused. Todd Howard treats us very, very, very well.
Of course he
You
does.
where's my cope? I have my cope gas here somewhere that I have to
All right,
snort.
just tell me. Okay, just tell me how you feel next time you want to pre-order a master or collector's edition of Fallout anything. All right, just tell me how that goes, and then tell
Look,
me how well you're treated.
look. It's more like
Didn't you get
it's
like
not.
a collector's edition of like Space Marine? Right.
I did actually. The statue's right behind me. With my little thumbs on it right there.
If you got it for Fallout, it would have fallen apart right here on camera. And by fallen apart, I mean disintegrated into dust.
It
It
probably
would
would
be
have. It probably would have like exploded, and then like
exploded,
shut
sitting in
up,
room
and then
temperature.
land right here on my desk, smoldering.
Yep, and it's
Um,
just like Todd Howard's bobblehead because somehow he put his own head on the collector's edition.
Look. Todd Howard is a man. He's a very smart man because he knows how to play with your emotions. He knows how. He
Yours,
knows
not
how to.
mine.
Yeah.
Not mine. He doesn't
He
play with
knows how to
mine for
play with
shit.
my emotions. He knows how to play with my emotions because when I heard that the mixed Fallout before 70 like when 76 was being announced, he's like 4 times the map, double the pixels, some more foreskin on your dick and shit like that. You're like, you know, I don't believe you, but you got a little smile to your face that makes me hopeful. You know, there's something about that smile that makes me hopeful. And luckily, I didn't fucking buy 76. I don't know. I'm pretty sure most people know about what the whole 76 fiasco was. Which, let's be honest, that shit was trash. That whenever someone tells you that 76 is a good game, they're coping. They're
The
fucking
last time I
coping.
played a game that was that broken was like Sonic '06, back in, you guessed it, 2006. Uh, I don't know how. I don't know how you even care about that franchise. Like the show's good. The show's good. The show's good. I'm not.
It's phenomenal. It's a
The
phenomenal
show's
fuck.
good. It just doesn't
The
have any bugs in it, which is the most inaccurate part. Uh,
the the actress for the main character, the Vault Girl, I forgot her name. Isn't it like Susie something?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Regardless, she was gonna win something because she's the same voice actress for Jinx in the Arcane series, so she would have won something regardless.
I, I'm trying to think. Do I think that Fallout is better than Arcane?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
that, I don't know about that. Like, I think it's good. I'm not sure if it's better though.
If
Though.
you're a Fallout fan, you would say that it's better. That's the thing.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we both play League of Legends. I love the League of Legends story. Um, but I think Fallout's show is way better because I'm a Fallout fan and a League of Legends fan. I don't play the game anymore because we have a bet now where if I don't play League of Legends for 3 years, then I win $200. So, um, and if I do play League of Legends, then I owe Isaac $200.
He'll fold eventually. Um,
Look, look. You know that something's gonna happen where I'm just gonna forget and then download the game and play it.
Look,
You
I'm
know that,
not
right?
concerned or even stressed. All right.
Look, $200 3 years from now is like what, like $20, so you'll be fine.
Right. Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, like, I don't know though, because like I'm not one of like the Arcane simps who's gonna like make a video calling Arcane a masterpiece, because I think you're capping if you think Arcane's a masterpiece, especially season two. I think season two has a lot of problems, uh, especially more than one. Uh, but I'm not sure if I think Fallout was better though. Like Fallout is funnier. It is funnier. I did laugh way more watching Fallout.
Of course, it's funny. It's Fallout. It's about taking in the joys of the insanity of it. That's what it is. It's embracing the quirkiness and craziness that the world has offered you, and then it's giving you the tools to essentially do whatever the fuck you want. Nobody's gonna tell you no. And if they tell you no, just put a bullet in the back of their head.
So it's gonna
Who gives
sound
a fuck?
weird coming from the weeb of the podcast, but oddly enough, I'm not really a fan of that style of quirkiness.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think Fallout's good. I don't think it's like amazing. I especially didn't like the way it ended. Like, I like the ending of Arcane more than the ending of Fallout.
Well, if you liked
Well, I
Fallout New
guess like
Vegas,
it wasn't.
if you liked Fallout New Vegas, you would have loved the ending for the Fallout show.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you remember the ending of Fallout show, but it literally showed the strip right there, which is like the main hub for Fallout New Vegas.
I mean, like, so like here's like the thing, right? Like, I've played League of Legends 2, and the most I expected from like Arcane were just like origin stories for the champions. I didn't actually think that those stories would go anywhere, and they do in Arcane. Um, which is why I'm like kind of like conflicted of whether or not I think Fallout is better, because like the character arcs in Fallout I actually like really enjoyed, especially what's his face from the Iron, what's that faction called, the
Brotherhood of Steel.
yeah, Brotherhood of Steel. I was about to call them the Iron Brotherhood.
I'm like, the fuck is Iron? Who's Iron in there?
Yeah, like the whole thing involved, everything involving Brotherhood of Steel I enjoyed. I thought it was probably the most fascinating part of the show. Uh, but
Yeah,
like,
they're very radical.
I'm not sure if everything about them is like more interesting than like Silco by himself in Arcane, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say that there's a lot. There's everybody in the Fallout show is a new character, and
Yeah, but Silco's
well,
not even a
yeah,
champion, right? Like
yeah.
that's why I'm like
So
mentioning him.
well,
Like
I'm
he is so
saying the
interesting.
interaction between him and Jinx is what like put a lot of like because if Jinx wasn't there, you would have to make an entirely new story. But Jinx was there, and you can kind of like have like a platform to make that. And Fallout, it's
Um,
more like they're starting from scratch kind of deal. So I feel
so
like they had the base and they worked with it because people like the character.
I don't know, cause like, so here's the fun thing about Arcane that I think it kind of has over Fallout is that it's really hard to talk about one character without talking about four other characters.
Yeah, it has the Warhammer problem. It
So
has the
like,
Warhammer problem where if you talk about one thing, you have to and you try to say something, you're like, oh fuck, actually, before if in order for you to know about this, you need to know about this
yeah,
type of deal.
cause I'm like Silco isn't in season 2 all that much. He shows up occasionally, but like he really isn't in season 2 all that much, right? But like everything involving him, like especially the stuff that we find out about him in season 2, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes me more fascinated by him in particular, way more, and it makes going back through season 1 even more interesting, right? And he's not a champion. He is specifically not, and it's
Mhm.
hard to talk about him without mentioning Jinx, Vander, Savika, who's
Bye.
also not a champion. Uh,
Bye.
yeah, Vi, like all that. It's hard to talk about him and not mention those characters because, like, I think he works really well, even if you don't really talk about Jinx, because like his backstory is just fascinating by itself.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see that something. I like stories like that just because like it gets you more involved in it because you have more passion for it. I realize
yeah,
because I'm a Warhammer nerd. I fucking bought the collector's edition of Space Marine 2. I never bought a collector's edition.
You haven't even
I got
beaten
into the
Space
Warhammer.
Marine 1. That's still the funniest part to me.
That is the funniest part, and I want to play it. I actually
I've
have it
beaten Space
downloaded.
Marine 1, and I can tell you the twist at the end of Space Marine 2. I looked at that guy and I said, "Who the fuck are you?"
It's been like what, like 10, 15
It's
years.
been like 10 years. And I'm like, wait, hold on, dog. Wait, hold on. You
Because
want me to
I
remember
know
this one plot line from this
I
one
know the
game 10
story of
fucking years ago?
I know the story of one. I've watched the entire gameplay, but I want to play it though. That's the thing. And
Oh my god, what were they on when they like
speaking
that was
speaking
like
of
the
shows,
Lex Luthor moment where he unmasked the Flash when he's in Flash's body in Justice League, and he's like, I have no idea who the hell this is. That's what I felt when that dude is like, all right, Titus, it's time for you to know who I am. Who
I
the
bet you
fuck
that,
are you?
I bet you that's like 30% of the people who played that game is
That's
like,
way more than
but
30%.
it's like, who the fuck is that? Then you see
Like,
Leandros on the subtitles, like, oh, that's Leandros.
yeah, you said
Uh,
Leandros, and I'm like, who the fuck are you?
yeah, and then
Actually,
it's
I would
like,
have loved it if Titus has just looked at him and he's like, "Who the fuck are you again?" It's like, It's me,
that would have been
Leandros."
that would have been the greatest fucking insult of all time, to especially to a fucking chaplain.
Oh my god! It's like, Titus,
Speaking
don't
of
you remember
shows,
me? No, it's been like 1,000 years.
speaking of shows, if you guys haven't heard, Amazon has just released a new, like kind of like a game series type of deal where it's
Oh
called
yeah,
Secret
secret
Level.
level.
Um, I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm gonna say if you like
Except
Captain
Concord.
Titus,
Concord's in it. All my
yeah,
favorite heroes from
yeah, no one's gonna
Concord.
fucking watch that shit. Um, the characters are so dumb. I don't know what the fuck they were smoking. They gave like a child and a monkey crayons and put LSD gas in the room and said, "Yeah, just go to town."
You know what's
Um,
crazy about Concord? Whenever I go back and look at the old footage of that game, and man, those character designs are aggressively bad. Like, they're aggressively bad.
they're
Or
really they're really bad. Especially that one girl that's like 90% lower body and like
so
10% everything else.
like the thing that's interesting about the Concord character designs is that they're they're bad in an inoffensive way, if that makes sense. Like,
They're so bad that it's kind of intriguing. I feel like that's like they were trying to go for.
well, I think it's very
Um,
much the opposite. They're bad in an unintriguing way. Like, it just looks it's not thought provoking. Like I look at like the cast of like Overwatch, and say what you will about Overwatch, all the characters about Overwatch, you have strong opinions about those. Like, what's that new character that you showed me that I fucking hated? Venture?
yeah, I fucking hate Adventure.
Like, I saw that character for like 2 seconds. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Like that was just my initial, just seeing the character. Like, you play more Overwatch than I do, which is to say my none at all versus your some. Uh,
I stopped playing it since Marvel Rivals came out. Which, by the way, if you haven't played Marvel Rivals, you should go download it right now. It's so fucking fun. We literally can't stop playing it. We've been playing it like all afternoon to the fucking break of dawn. It's so fucking good.
it's good in my opinion of how that game. I feel like that game's more balanced than I think, though. I also haven't played ranked in it at all. So
Well, yeah, because we don't want to fucking ruin our fun.
yeah, that.
I don't want to have 5 DPS and then one fucking support on a team, which has happened multiple times. It's like, oh look, we have a near balanced team. Hey, look, we have 2 tanks. Hey, we have 2 DPS. We have 1 support. Hey, the guy's still picking. Oh, I'm pretty sure he'll pick another fucking DPS. Spider-Man 0 and fucking 14.
I always like that. That's always so fun because you're like, man, all right. All right, I'm in. I locked in Loki, so I'm going to do some healing. All right. All right, what's everyone else going to pick? And then I see Magic. I'm like, okay, we got DPS. And then I see Winter Soldier. All right, we got another DPS. Okay. And then I see Psylocke. And I'm like, all right, we got another DPS. And then
And then we have
and then I
Hanzo,
see Wolverine.
Hawkeye.
Nah, we'd be lucky if we got fucking Hawkeye. And then I
Fuck.
see Wolverine. I'm like, fuck. All right, it's not looking good. All right, this last guy, he's been sitting there for like a good solid like 40 seconds, really thinking about what he wants to pick. All right, okay. Hopefully he'll like lock in a tank, and then we can at least like roll with something. Black Widow. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, how?
The amount of times that I had to swap from DPS because we had no tanker support is like it's ridiculous. I can't even count that many. Especially when I'm popping off because I play Iron Fist. I fucking love Iron Fist. He's so much fun. You can hate me all you want, but the easiest way to counter Iron Fist, if you ever played TF2 and you have like the best way to counter Spy is to hey, there's an Iron Fist behind us, and then everybody turns around and fucking kills him. It's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. Like the amount if there's a coordinated team, I can't do shit. The only time I can do something is when my team goes in or their team goes in, and then I have to jump in and try to fuck up the backline. I'm tired of these people telling me that Iron Fist is overpowered. No, he's not. Just fucking turn around.
I don't know. They're like the same people that tried to tell you that Scarlet Witch is overpowered, and you're like, look, we remember yesterday when we spent all day trying to make this Scarlet Witch ultimate work, and
Yeah,
the only
when
way
I
to
played Doctor Strange.
I went through that portal. I was either 75% or halfway through that ult animation, and I got taken out of that thing twice. Twice. First by Penny, and then the second time by Spider-Man. They're like, you better shut the fuck up with that shit. That
Yeah,
means
they're
in
not
order to
gonna
get
do
that
that
to
shit.
work, we would probably have to do Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Magneto. And Magneto. One to open the
The shield
portal,
on
one
you.
to ult, and one to shield me from any CC. And then maybe we'll get them quick enough that they won't all, like, find some way to get out of it.
I think the most people you ever gotten was two. That was about it.
With
And
the
you've done like
portal,
what, like
yeah.
4 or 5 ultimates, and the most you've gotten is like two at a time. And I think the least is like once, like one person. And then in
All
the
of,
other two
like,
times, you just fucking got CC'd or died immediately. I'm like, Isaac, where'd you go? He's like, I'm dead. I'm like, how the fuck did you die? It's like they just turned around and killed me. He just, they were like, why the fuck is there a Scarlet Witch trying to ult through a portal? Like we're not dumb and can't hear her say, pure chaos. Like the fuck, make no sense.
they like see me come through that portal like, you stupid bitch. And then they slap the shit out of me. They slap the absolute shit out of me. I'm like, damn. You know what? I am a stupid bitch.
But I will say, Marvel Rivals, very very good game. If you haven't already played it, please go play it. It's pretty badly optimized on PC. The monetization's kind of mixed, but you really don't need to buy anything there. And the best part is, it's better than Overwatch. I honestly would have to say that's probably better than Overwatch on release. I
It
have
does
had more
not. It
fun on this
lacks
game
that
than Overwatch on
Overwatch
release.
polish. That much is very
You are muted.
obvious. Say again? It lacks that Overwatch polish. That's for sure.
Oh, I was muted. Never mind.
But yeah,
Um,
that's all I wanted to say about that. It lacks that Overwatch polish. But other than that, like, Marvel Rivals is great. We'll probably see it be discussed at next year's Game Awards, is what I suspect. Ooh, you know what? This one I want to talk about. All right. Clive and Tekken 8. All right.
you can go ahead
Because,
and talk about that. I know nothing about those games.
okay, so this is the time for me to educate you. All right. Because you, my friend, don't know. So when we were watching the trailer, like, you should check out the trailer for Clive right now. All right. Because you did not even look at Final Fantasy 16, even though I think you would probably like it. And, like, honestly, I more want to talk about Final Fantasy 16 than Clive's inclusion in Final Fantasy 16 and Tekken 8. Clive and like Clive and Tekken actually is kind of a weird pick because Clive is so Clive is like so different than like the last like 5 Final Fantasy main characters that came before him. In which he's like one like Clive is like an actual adult, not like, well, I guess Lightning wasn't a teenager either, but Clive is probably like the oldest Final Fantasy main character. Like I think he's either like late 20s, early 30s, like midway through Final Fantasy 16. But Clive's abilities, all right, like I don't know if you're checking out that trailer, Johnny. All
I'm
right,
trying to look it up.
and you can just look up Clive Tekken 8. And the thing is that when we were there and we were watching the trailer, Nate was also there. And one thing that was interesting is that you and Nate, when Clive did his super, did not know that Clive turned into a giant flaming kaiju.
Dragon Kaiju. Yeah, I remember this
Uh,
trailer now.
I'm not sure. There's definitely more of a dragon in that game, but you do not know that Clive turned into a giant flaming kaiju. And I'm like, do you guys know literally nothing about this game? And apparently the answer is yes. So let me educate you a little bit on Final Fantasy 16 and why I think you would like Final Fantasy 16, Johnny. All right, one, Final Fantasy 16, despite the words "final" and "fantasy" being on the cover, what it should say is "Devil May Cry" on it. All right, just Devil May Cry with side quests. That's what Final Fantasy 16 truly is. Devil May Cry with MMO style side quests. That's what this game is. All right, straight up, it's a Devil May Cry game. It's made by the combat designers from Capcom who left Capcom and went to Square Enix. All right, so same guys. All right,
Yeah.
basically plays like Devil May Cry game. That game is like 50% Devil May Cry and 50% Game of Thrones. All right, in which you'll hear all this soft political talk about, oh, we need these resources there and we need to do these political relations, but also these two guys from these two different countries are fucking because they have an affair going on, and fuck that guy because I hate him, and all that stuff, right? And in the middle of this, you, the main character, Clive, can turn into a giant flaming kaiju and use fire magic to do sick combos, all right? And you also have a dog that can turn into a cooler dog that also does sick combos, all right? And there's like 8 other people in the world who also have like other cool sick element based powers that can do sick combos, all right? And most of that game is just going through the world, collecting their powers, whether purposely or accidentally. You're collecting a bunch of powers, and then you eventually fight God like every other game. All right, because it's JRPG at its heart. All right, this is just my pitch to be like, go play Final Fantasy 16, but Rebirth is better, which is also coming to PC. PC. It's coming to PC. Which I can't wait for Rebirth to come to PC because Rebirth is infinitely, infinitely better than Remake. I think it's way better than Remake. I think the combat is way better, and the story is okay. I don't think it's better than Remake because Remake could at least lie and say that it was doing something different, but you already know what the case is in Rebirth. Um, I think that's it for me talking about Clive and Tekken 8. Clive appears to have all his moves from the game, including some of his DLC abilities. So he has some of those in his kit. Yeah, Clive just basically has everything from what I've seen of his kit in Tekken 8. I'm not much of a Tekken 8 enjoyer, but I still love to watch me some Tekken. I've only played a little bit of Tekken. just to understand that there's constant 50-50s whenever a motherfucker makes you block. Uh, Anything else you want out of this fucking Game Awards, Johnny? Or are we gonna talk
Um,
about that game that's not Shadow of the Colossus? We swear. Um,
I I'm just looking at like the winners, and I'm really sad that Space Marine 2 didn't win anything, but
what was it up against, and what category? It was like multiplayer, right?
best multiplayer game and best action game, I believe. So best multiplayer game, there was Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer. I understand why Space Marine 2 won, just because it's a lot more friendly than Space Marine 2. I would say that's a lot easier to get into than Space Marine 2. That's also a very niche game compared to Helldivers. Um, I'm sad that I didn't win because I'm gonna be honest. I enjoyed Space Marine 2 way more than I did Helldivers, especially after the whole like fiasco with Sony and all the nerfs and everything. That honestly killed my enjoyment from the game. They could make the game a perfect fucking game now, but I have the stance of if a game like fucks up and or the game doesn't release well, I would never. I'll either never play it or I'll be very adverse to play it. That's why it took me so long to try out Overwatch 2, which I'm gonna be honest, Overwatch 2 is not a terrible game, but it's not great. It's not. It's like the best solid 6.5 out of 10 hero shooter you ever play.
Damn, damn! It lost two
Um,
points or like 1.5 points over like. Damn, when did Overwatch shoot? When did Overwatch come out? Like
Overwatch came
2016?
out like when we were in high school, weren't we?
I want.
Like
I want to say
2016,
a little bit after that.
probably 2018. Let me check. But like Overwatch when it came out was a solid like 9.10, 9 out of 10 game, right? Think so?
Yeah, it was like $1 billion franchise, like pretty quickly.
Yeah, we were in high school. May 3rd, 2016.
Yeah, okay, we were in high school for like a little bit, a little bit, because I know where I was in September of 2016, and
Yeah,
that was not high school. So we're in high school for like a tiny bit that time.
yeah. So I'm just like looking up a few more things. So yeah, Overwatch did come on in 2016. I'm gonna be honest with you. Overwatch was one of the best. Probably it was the hero shooter. That's why I want to say it was the hero shooter when it came out. It was very fun. It just it it felt like it was like the first few updates were really nice, and then it just went down to like like just a downward slope. There was no like slope. It was just a cliff. Actually, it was just update after update where it just straight down, and it just made the game feel shit. Like there was no point in playing it. That's why like myself and Isaac stopped playing. It wasn't that fun anymore. It just felt like dull and like the balancing was weird. Like the balance. There's one thing I always say. I hate when the 1% of the player base, like the high like 1% or above that, will make all the changes for balancing. Because a lot of that shit doesn't correlate a lot of times to casual players, which is the majority audience. And while they call it a competitive shooter, like majority of your player base is casual. Like they get home from work and then they hop on Overwatch just to chill out. Like they're not
By
there
the
to like.
way, that reminds me. Did you play the Overwatch Classic yet?
No, I've been too busy playing Marvel Rivals. That's I'm telling you, that's how good Marvel Rivals is.
I
It's so good that I would rather play Marvel Rivals than play the Overwatch Classic. And you know the only reason they released Overwatch Classic was because Marvel Rivals was coming out. They would never fucking release that if Marvel Rivals was coming out. They would have never fucking released that. If they were going to release that, they would have done that before Overwatch 2. That's just I believe in that. They would have fucking released like Overwatch quote unquote classic before Overwatch 2 because of all the allegations and shit and how bad the game was performing. I mean, fuck, I don't understand how Overwatch players still play that game. Like
What was the
yeah, I
last
like
good thing Blizzard came out with?
Dragonflight for World of Warcraft.
Okay.
It, a lot of people hated Dragonflight. I fucking love Dragonflight. The story was amazing up until the end. And that was just because like they had to fucking finish it in some way where the dragon aspects got their power. That's about it. With if you guys don't know, I play World of Warcraft and I play like a lot of other games. I started in Dragonflight and I fucking love that shit. Who would have guessed? The guy that's named Dragon played Dragonflight. Fucking weird, right?
That
Um,
reminds me, I still need to touch the newly announced Warframe 1999. Though that required me to go through all of Warframe. For anyone listening, context, I only have like 60 hours in Warframe, and that's from like 2018. So I'm basically a
good
Warframe
fucking luck.
noob.
Good fucking luck. You
I think I have
have
like 300 hours worth of content if I'm
probably more.
probably
Probably
more.
fucking more. If you want frames, they're gonna take you a minute to grind.
Ugh. Yes.
You see, that's the thing is that I don't want to play that game because it seems like it's really hard to get into. Like the reason I
Well,
play
it's
World of
not hard
Warcraft
to
is
get
because
into. It's actually pretty easy to get into. It's hard to catch up. That's
that's
the
the
thing.
yeah that's yeah. And World
Which
of
I'll be
Warcraft is a little bit
straight.
different. It's actually the opposite. It's kind of weird. Like World of Warcraft is kind of like a little harder to get into, but really easy to catch up
So
because you
low
don't have
key,
to
I
play
think
all
it's
the previous
better
expansions.
if I can just play the game like a game. And what I mean by this is that I think if I can just play the game like a regular game in which I can just play it like a very long fucking story mode, like a very long as shit campaign, I'm okay with that. Um, if I have to like sit there and grind to hit the point where I can then sit there and grind, I don't think I like that so much. Not to say that the journey has to have no grinding, but like I don't want to sit there and grind endlessly with the goal to grind endlessly with shinier gear. Like I'm assuming, I'm hoping that they made that functionality better for Warframe. Um, oh wow, we're like starting to approach our time.
We are. I was about to like say we're getting a little closer to our time.
All right, well, I guess we'll have to conclude our podcast this week, and then we will be back next week with more, and we'll probably continue the topics we got on hand, and we will
Yeah.
see you all next time. Bye bye.
Yep. Take it easy.